aforementioned Sarah Palin, who was here in this sort of position 4 years ago. And you know the expectation game, Governor, and how it's played or not played. How do you think Paul Ryan did tonight?
Well, that was a tough format for Paul Ryan. It would be tough for any candidate when one candidate is allowed via the moderator's action or inaction to allow a candidate to kind of run roughshod over the other guy. I thought that was kind of unfortunate that the moderator so allowed Mr. Biden to run. It reminded me kind of a musk ox running across the tundra with Paul Ryan and she herself, the moderator, underfoot once in a while.
You know, that's a good point. He did interrupt a lot more. Now, I don't know whether she could control that much as Jim Laris couldn't seem to control either candidate last week. But that's an interesting thing that I noticed Paul Ryan interrupted a lot less. Do you think that Paul Ryan should have interrupted a lot more then because Joe Biden was doing it so much that just to give himself equal attack time, he should have done so? Was he almost too polite?
Well, whatever it takes to take those gloves off and show the American voter how passionate you are about helping to defend the republic, that your policies are the right policies, that you're talking facts, you're talking don't lie when it comes to the economy. Yeah, if that's what it takes on Paul Ryan's part to go ahead and interrupt Joe Biden because he did it to him, whatever it takes to really exude that passion for policies that will work to get the economy roaring again.
Governor, I mentioned how Paul Ryan might have tripped up on how he would see the Governor Romney's tax cut end up being revenue neutral, that it wouldn't be nearly so costly. Do you think he could be setting himself up for bad press tomorrow if he is essentially saying, you know, these big tax cuts we're proposing, in the end, they might not be so big because when we remove some deductions and allowances, particularly for upper income folks, it won't be what a lot of folks are thinking. I'm paraphrasing here, Governor, but that a lot of those upper income folks, a lot of those folks expecting big tax cuts might be shaking their head now and saying, well, what the heck? Is this going to be a substantial tax cut or won't it?
Yeah, that's a great point, Neil, that perhaps some of the verbiage chosen by Paul Ryan will allow for the setup of good press for Biden, bad press for Paul Ryan in the morning when it comes to these tax cuts. You know what I kept waiting for, and we talked about this last time I got to speak with you, is why are candidates arguing over who should be hit with tax increases anyway? By the way, why aren't they arguing that government is spending too much and that's the problem, and we need to make the big federalized government as irrelevant in our lives as possible, which includes cutting budgets, cutting money that we don't have, these expenditures, to allow the private sector more flexibility, more opportunity to grow and thrive. I kept waiting for both sides to argue that, but didn't hear it again.
You know, I'm curious, Governor, your name came up on this health care thing, and particularly on I think you had called it death panels. And so once again, 4 years after the fact, here you are showing up as a subject matter in the debate. I want you to listen to this and then react to this.
Here's what we're saying. Give younger people, when they become Medicare eligible, guaranteed coverage options that you can't be denied, including traditional Medicare. Choose your plan, and then Medicare subsidizes your premiums. Not as much for the wealthy people, more coverage for middle-income people, and total out-of-pocket coverage for the poor and the sick. Choice and competition. We would rather have 50 million future seniors determine how their Medicare is delivered to them instead of 15 bureaucrats deciding what, if, where, when they get it.
Vice President Biden, too.
You know, I heard that death panel argument from Sarah Palin. It seems every vice presidential debate I hear this kind of stuff about panels.
What did you think of, in other words, that Romney and Ryan are misrepresenting the health care law and its restrictions or its features?
Well, first, for Joe Biden to have said, here's this panel talk in every vice presidential debate. How many vice presidential debates have there been in the last 4 years? This is only number 2. And no, I'm glad that Paul Ryan was able to explain that his idea and Romney's idea is to allow for more choices for recipients of health care coverage for them to take responsibility, make their own choices instead of relying on a bankrupt system that will no longer be there as a safety net for the American public if we keep going down the road that Obama wants us to go on. And as for the death panels, what Paul Ryan was talking about had nothing to do with the panel of 15 faceless bureaucrats that will make life and death decisions when it comes to coverage, instead of our doctors and patients being able to have a relationship, making our own decisions about what kind of coverage we would like. Joe Biden just kind of highlighted that, and thank you for it, because I want to talk about why we cannot afford these death panels nor anything else that is a part of Obamacare.
Do you think that at least the vice president might have comported himself well enough to dispel people of the notion Team Obama was imploding? I know that the criticism that the president got last week for his flat-footed performance against Mitt Romney, I still don't know, who they're going to say won this debate or not. I could see both had their strong points tonight, both had some of their weak points. That at the very least, Joe Biden might have arrested that fear somewhat. What do you think?
Well, he fulfilled his mission, I believe, in terms of what the mainstream media, the liberal media, wanted him to do, and that was throw out that 47% comment, throw out some more of the hard-hitting comments that have been perhaps made. President Obama was too aloof and disconnected and disengaged to be able to throw out there in his debate last week. So Biden was sent as kind of the attack dog, I think, tonight to do that Obama could not do. And I think he fulfilled his mission in that respect. And you'll see, I believe, some commentary tomorrow by the mainstream media saying, yeah, he did kind of rescue in some ways what Obama should have been able to carry in his own debate, but Obama failed.
Yeah, I think you're right about that, Governor. At the very least, there will be that arrested the free fall sense that had developed last week. Governor, it is always a pleasure. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you so much. Have fun.